Now, here's this article right here. I saw this article being passed around by The Hill. Take it or leave it. FBI says it routinely notifies social media companies of potential threats following Zuckerberg Rogan podcast. Oops. I guess we got to do some cleanup right about now. Look, this is something we do all the time. We're all about notifying people and, taking away the First Amendment and all that stuff. No big deal there. Yes, everything's one-sided. The FBI said it routinely notifies private sector entities, including social media companies. Ergo, your freedom of speech. Is it freedom of speech if it's on a private platform? I don't think so. The information related to the potential threats of Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said on Facebook limited distribution of a controversial story. I like how he said regarding the Hunter Biden story. We limited the distribution. We didn't censor. That's a Twitter thing. We just made it so no one saw it. So you censored. Yeah, it's the same. Of a controversial story in the 2020 presidential election because of FBI warning. The statement followed Zuckerberg's appearance on Joe Rogan on Thursday. Let's go. Russian used social media platforms like Facebook to post intentionally polarizing content ahead of the 2016 election. As if that even matters. What if it's true? What if Russian disinformation or Russian propaganda was just spreading truth around? Does that matter? Nah. The FBI has provided companies with foreign threat indicators. Beep, 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 beep. Indicated. Is it about Trump? It's correct. Is it about Hunter? Let's forget about it even happening. Papa says, private companies are free to do whatever they want. It's just so happens they wanted to do the same thing that the FBI wanted. Okay, and this is my thought about this whole thing, is that you're seeing a part of the ESG movement where the government is no longer needing to govern and create laws. What they do is they just go to the actual companies and then they make all the companies jump on the same board together, give them tax breaks, whatever you want. And then they create the social credit score, and then they say things like, yes, we're in line with very communist ideas. We're in line with whatever you agree to be correct, and we will carry out the law for you. Therefore, you don't have to make a law that might get taken away from, or you don't even have to make an executive order. This is a perfect example of ESG in its finest, of the corporations doing the bidding of the United States government. You need to be paying attention to this ESG movement and ESG stuff more and more. I know we like to pretend like that's just a China thing, but a lot of the hints, a lot of the pieces are being connected here in America. Papa says, can we get some examples of Russian disinformation? I don't know, exactly. Like, I feel like that's just such a buzzword term as well. It's just one of those terms that once you say it ignites brain cells in a certain sector of people, where they go, okay, I trust that information now. I know that word. Russian disinformation. You never hear United States disinformation or Democratic disinformation, corporate media disinformation, Republican disinformation, conservative disinformation. Like it's always like to the right. Whoever's on the right. Russia, as Trump says, as Biden says, these MAGA conservatives, that's the problem. And we have way more clips to get into regarding that. But this is a perfect example of ESG and its work. Government tipping off private corporations saying you need to be doing things this way in order for us to look the other way. If you throw a rock at Twitter, you're going to hit at least 1,500 Chinese bots. I totally agree. I think so. I think that Twitter is plagued with bots. There's way too many people that aren't interesting, that have way too many followers, that don't tweet anything funny or anything relevant, and when they do tweet, they have minimal interaction. I just cannot buy that some of these people I follow have like 1 million followers when the majority of their posts get like 5 likes. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you could say that the people are just looking and not liking or interacting, but that's got to be such a small margin of people. There's no way the majority of people are on Twitter following people and never engaging. I would never be a part of a platform that I just looked at stuff. That sounds creepy anyways. But here's a perfect example of ESG. Be on the lookout for more, as you see more corporations start to align with more liberal leftist doctrine. and then they push down stuff on their agenda where they put their money. That's why you see things like BlackRock coming out and saying, hey, you might not make as much money if you give money to us because we're going to be doing a lot of infrastructure and we're going to go towards more green energy and stuff like that. Stuff to pay attention to, but the idea of them saying we're not going against your First Amendment right, we're just talking to companies and letting them know what's information and disinformation.